memorization, pattern recognition, creativity. Release the power.
Grasshopper, what can you expect from a solid chess opening? Listen. With central space, free minor piece development, and a minimum of structural weaknesses.
Welcome to my channel. Today, in this video, you will learn how to make White's game difficult. This is from Black's perspective.
Queen's Gambit, Black got lines.
For the first topic, Chess Assassin will begin with positional understanding. In light of structural weaknesses.
Develop with an attack.
Continuing with the second topic, dynamics and central tension.
Aim for pawn breaks.
Continuing on to the third topic, alternative lines and evaluation.
Move your pieces onto squares from which they can attack or threaten enemy pieces.
So, the basic theme of this lesson is making it difficult for White to carry out his plans. Stirring up complications is the way to go. Stirring up complications can cause your opponent to create an additional weakness. And once that weakness is created, then it becomes your target. Another thing is that as the defending side, or as Black, the goal is to create a situation where White has to make a difficult decision, such as whether to sacrifice material or to give up the initiative.
Bishop takes rook on f8. Will yield White bargaining power.
Playing e6 releases Black's dark square bishop, while obstructing Black's light square bishop. By declining White's temporary pawn sacrifice, Black erects a solid position. The pawns on d5 and e6 give Black a foothold in the center. An eventual d takes c4 by Black will surrender the center to White, and Black will usually not do this unless he can extract a concession, usually in the form of gaining a tempo by capturing on c4 only after White has played bishop d3 first. Black will often aim for the pawn break c5 in this opening, which often leads to one or the other side accepting isolated or hanging pawns in exchange for dynamic compensation.
Let's flip the board and continue to examine these lines from Black's perspective.
Question: what is Black's first black belt move combination here? Answer:
Black will play knight on b to d7, followed by pawn on c7 to c5, and knight on d to c5, but only after making preparations by b6 and bishop b7.
Nothing else bang harder as the phone does.
After challenging White's center, by c5, Black prepares a fianchetto of the Queen's bishop.
Now we're going to examine two lines in which Black is willing to accept an isolated d-pawn for dynamic compensation. This is our final example, with e6 being Black's first move response. The next first move response for Black will be knight to f6. In the previous line, Black played the knight from b to d7. Here, Black plays the pawn to c5 right away. However, in this line, the knight will go to c6 instead.
Notice the Isolani pawn. Black's play here is dynamic.
Notice how Black's pieces will play directly around the Isolani on d5. It is Black's plan to jettison this pawn forward.
A perfectly even endgame. I encourage you to practice the resulting endgames.
Now this is an opening that you can experiment with if you're playing the black side. Knight f6 on move 1 and d5 right away on move 2 for black. And then around these two moves you can decide how you want to continue. c4. Or you have various options here. You can play e6, c6, a6, possibly even g6, but here the move is e6. Another feature of this game that I happen to like is that black plays the bishop to e7 first before proceeding to place the bishop on the b4 square. Bishop e7, and after black finishes development, then the bishop will go to b4 later, capture that knight on c3, and will then play the knight on f6 to e4. Notice how consistent black's play is. Play the pawn to c5, either capture on d4 or just play the pawn to c4. Okay, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. Remember, my nick on Lichess is Paul_Morphy_Genius. And I will be accepting challenges, but leave a comment in the comment section of this video.